If they fail to do so, they should lose their seat at the table. I always say, if you don't play fair in a deal, no matter if it's business or politics, you should excuse yourself from the table.
Trying to strike a deal on tariffs in Washington. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Canada's premiers came to Washington to try and get a deal to talk to people about tariffs and why they believe that Canada and the United States are better off without tariffs in the mix. It's been a couple of days of talking to people in Congress, people in the Senate, business leaders, all with the same message. Canada and the United States are better when they work together. During a meeting with reporters, Quebec Premier François Legault said his message is clear. He wants no tariffs. But one of the number one trade irritants that you hear about when you talk to Americans is that Canada has tariffs on dairy. Canada has quotas on dairy. Canada is too restrictive on dairy. So I asked the premiers, will you consider negotiating on dairy? Not getting rid of supply management, but allowing greater access to the Americans on an issue that is their number one trade irritant. The New Brunswick Premier, Susan Holt, she was open to the idea, said it needed to be done at the negotiating table, though. But François Legault, he was firm. No.
In Quebec, we are against changing the management of the offer. The reason why we have that is to protect our regions, all right? So we don't give any subsidies to milk producers. So the only thing we do is we manage the offer, and it's a way to protect small farms in all the regions. So for us, it's not negotiable.
It's beyond ridiculous to have Canadian politicians here saying we don't want tariffs on while at the same time we apply a 300% tariff on any American dairy that goes above the quota that we give them. A quota they say is too low. You don't have to agree with the Americans, but if we're demanding greater access for our goods, such as beef, pork, etc., well, why wouldn't we allow them greater access on their number one issue? Ontario Premier Doug Ford put it well, you've got to be willing to come and listen and talk and negotiate. Too often Canadians aren't. We are headed towards a complete renegotiation of NAFTA or USMCA or CUSMA, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be renegotiated. That's something that Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc, Federal Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc, said when he was talking to reporters. He showed up, surprisingly, in Washington at the same time as the Premier, said he was going to be meeting with Trump administration officials on this very issue.
And Mr. Lutnick, as you know, has an April 1st deadline that the president gave him in the initial executive orders in terms of reviewing the trading relationships of the United States. My conversations with him have been around structuring an economic deal that's in the interests of Canada and the United States. So that's the conversation we're hoping to have with him today.
Canada has long protected its dairy sector, and the Americans are not calling for getting rid of supply management, but they do want greater access. That may be something that we have to give them. We may have to give up at least part of the sacred cow to save our trading relationship. But if we come in with an absolute no on their key issues, why would we expect them to turn around and give us what we want? That's not how negotiations work. Of course, at the end of the day, the only opinion that seems to matter is of the guy in the building behind me, Donald J. Trump, who seems to change his mind on a regular basis about when tariffs are coming in, what for, and on what goods. Look, it's an erratic time, but coming down here with a mixed message on trade, probably not a good idea. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.